I don't know if the camera is going to pick these colors up, but I'm trying to make sure that I keep it clear that this volume of foliage is attached to this tree, and this tree in the background, I am going to keep it in the shade. I like that idea. So I need to use similar colors, but a slightly lower chroma, and maybe just dumb it down with some value. Well, you know what I did actually? I used yellow ochre, red sienna, and a little bit of ultramarine blue, and that, you know, I used enough so that it did not look green, but it killed off some of the intensity of the color. We'll see how it looks. Seems to be okay so far. But again, I have noticed that the camera doesn't really pick up very accurately my colors sometimes. I'll cut into that a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of a dark army green. That's okay. I can live with that. Okay. You know, because you've got ultramarine blue and yellow ochre, you're going to green right away. And then if you add a little bit of red sienna, well, then you're, as long as you don't add too much, then you're warming your green up a little bit. And I only want this to be slightly green. I don't want a green tree, as it were. But it's the last tree. Okay, a little more of that. Okay. I'm being a little bit cheap here. You always mix up more paint than you need, but sometimes I just don't do that. And all you end up doing is wasting time and getting a little frustrated because you think, well, why didn't I do it right the first time? Yeah, it's getting a bit dark. But rather than adding another color, I'll add just a hint of white. Bring the value up, but not the chroma. And by adding a little bit of white, then it just shows that maybe it's picking up some light. Whoops, didn't mix that thoroughly enough. Picking up a bit of light from over here somewhere. Because, yep, on the shady side, there's still light. Okay, I'm getting kind of sloppy here. During your final touches, that's just not the time to get sloppy. Okay, that's better. Ooh, that's getting very green. Not so sure about that. I'm going to put in a little more red sienna again. And I notice right away I'm making very small brush strokes, knife strokes. Now, this isn't a large distant tree, it's a small close tree. So I need to make sure that I keep those brush strokes large enough. Knife strokes. Keep those knife strokes large enough so that it's still, looks like it's not too far off. That's better. Decisive strokes, that's what we're after. Oh, that's very green. Yeah. I think it'll work. It's the only tree in the painting that looks like this. Yeah, you don't want your knife loaded too much and you don't want it underloaded. And I've been doing this job for 5,000 years and I still make the same mistake. One way or another. It's not a bother on the larger strokes, but what I'd like to have happen is that everything goes perfectly and I never have to redo anything. Yeah, right, like that ever happens. I've got a lot of hard lines for a tree that's a little further away. In general, that's not too bad. Just keeping with the same color group here. Add a little bit of white to cool it off. It's a little too cool. And I think I had the right idea here. There, see if I can re-implement it in do a little better job of that. Okay, I'd like a little bit of light on this side. Don't need much, but certainly need a little bit. See what I'm doing? I'm trying to stay away from becoming too orange. And I'm trying to stay away from becoming too green. And the biggest mistake I'm making right now is that I'm not backing up and having a look. So I'm going to do that. Yeah, it's the one green tree. I think I'm okay with that. Because it's still a sister or brother of, let's see if I'm backed up enough here, of these colors, and colors off to the left here as well. It's still within the family of colors in the painting. It just hasn't fully come into its fall colors yet. Okay, I like that. I'm going to live with it. Yep, more drama, broad strokes. Now let's see if we can get a little bit of trunk in there. And again, I can't go much darker on that trunk, you know, than I am here on the shady side. It needs to appear a little further away. Yeah, so somewhere between what? I can't point around the painting and show you because it's just kind of, I'm zoomed in too close, but I want to stay zoomed in so you can see what I'm doing. You know, somewhere between the very darkest areas. And I might just go a little more blue, because if I can go bluer, that's a great contrast next to this yellow, which is almost a greenish yellow. But I will use ultramarine blue. If I use cobalt, it's going to be way too strong, way too green. I'm going to start with the cobalt blue, no, ultramarine blue, and a little bit of raw umber. And if I go too blue, if it appears too strong, then I'm just going to have to stick more with these other colors that I have here. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I think really all I have to do is put a signature on it and it's done. I was so tempted to do a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this, and then, you know, I so easily fall into the trap of making the entire thing very weak. So I just stopped myself in my tracks. So I got that little tree finished now. And our bush with our bit of debris back there. You know what I'll do? I'll just scan the trunks quickly, because that gives you a pretty good idea of the knife work. Oops. I'm so bad with the camera. These two trees on the right, they're a little darker than the ones on the left, but you know, I was going to lighten them up in spots, and I thought, no, you know, if I do that, I will end up with bright on the right, bright on the left. Both areas distracting from the focal area, or not distracted, well, competing with it, really. That's the only trunk that actually has a bit of sunlight hitting it. See, kind of using the light, Using the light to draw the design of the trunk and the textures in the trunk. That's a muscular one, that one. Okay, I think I've gone over all my colors pretty much. Yeah, you can see I got rid of some of the branches up there. I wanted to simplify it a little bit. Yeah, I think it's good that I just leave it toned down the way it is. Keep the focus in down in that direction. And I like that shape. I like the shape of that tree. That's just hunky-dory as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I need to put a signature on it, and then it's going to come upstairs and live with me. And I will put a 36 by 48 on the easel and begin thinking about what I'm going to do with that. Have a good one.